Maybe I'm live. Let's find out together, shall we? All right. Checking in to see if I'm up and running. I've got about an hour or so today to kick around using treasure. Okay, cool. Yeah, sounds like I'm good. And let's drop my volume down there so it doesn't get in the way. Let's grab a link here so I can post on the social medias that we're live. I'm going to get through my notifications and hopefully provide you some background about myself and introduction here before we get started today. For those that are catching us in the future after the stream is over, be welcome to skip ahead a minute and we'll get into it. But for those that are new to the channel or trapped here in time space with me here and now, my name is Phil Kearney. What's up? I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish them online, and I have been both a big D&D and Magic the Gathering enthusiast since ever. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a MTG enthusiast since 1995. I've been a freelance illustrator in the fantasy RPG industry since 99. And I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since 2017. Wizards has owned both Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons for since the year 2000, basically. And now that we're in our third edition, they're finally creating MTG content. That the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica was in 2017. I think that was the year. And then there was Mythic Odyssey of Theros. I think was in, I want to say, 2019, and then Strixhaven, Curriculum, and Chaos. I think that was 21 or 22. I'm not sure specifically, but in all these cases, they've taken the worlds of Magic the Gathering and then dropped them into the 5e game engine to play D&D within. Back in 2000s, when Wizards was developing 3rd edition, whenever they'd come out with a new system or a new book, they'd have entirely new game design engines, subsystems, resource systems, character classes, feats, magic items, quests, spells, classes, races, subclasses, prestige classes. They would have like all the different elements of the game using this new thing. And I think a lot of us were expecting something similar for the color magic system. But when that didn't happen, that's what got me motivated to start creating content on the DMsGuild, creating the color mana spell pulling variant rules to replace the 8 schools of magic and fantasy and spell slots that are notorious in Dungeons and Dragons, to replace it with the color mana system using the 5 color magic paradigm that Magic the Gathering made famous. Since both IPs are owned by Wizards, and Wizards has published content for Dungeons and Dragons using these 3 MTG settings, that opened them up for use on the DMsGuild, which allowed me to then publish the color mana spellpulling variant rule books that we have online now. So I'm really proud of that. They're really great. And now that we have 2024 rules, it's time to update them all. So I'm going to go through that process and continue updating stuff. Right now, hold on, if you're on the X Twitter platform, I'm at Phil Kearney, where I post notifications, coupons, early looks, work in progress, and invitations to participate in playtesting or to check out content that I've been producing. So if you're on the X Twitter platform, I'm at Phil Kearney. Similarly, on YouTube, I am also at Phil Kearney. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we are live in the future. And here is the full, we got playtesting for level 3 megadungeon setup using the color mana system and the martial powers mechanics that we've been developing here on stream for the past year. Here is the full set of Magic the Gathering books that are currently published on DMsGuild that we are currently going through the process of updating for 2024. And if you've been tagging along for the past 3 months, you'll see a lot of the mechanical work that's been going into that. These are all free preview. You don't buy my books to get access to the information inside of them. You can get all of that here on the free preview. What you buy my books to encourage me to make more. If you like these things, helping support me in doing so allows me to invest more time so I can produce the books quicker with better quality. And then here is the document that we're using. If you click on this, it takes you to my Patreon. God bless you if you want to support me on Patreon. but anyone can access this. You click the Martial Powers button. For you, it's going to pop open as a read-only Google Doc. It's 165, I think it's 165 pages at this point. Yeah, it provides the entire martial power system, which is a half-casting alternate magic system for barbarians, monks, fighters, rogues, rangers, paladins, as well as warlocks can pick up powers using invocations, and artificers can acquire powers through devoting infusions to powers that can then be fueled with the artificer's mana pool. Now, using this system, all 13 classes in D&D have the same unified mana system as their base resource mechanic. It just depends on what class you are to determine how much mana you get per level and whether you get back on a short or a long rest. So you can check out the entire system here, as well as all the rebuilds to utilize this system for the barbarian, the fighter, the monk, the rogue. The paladin and ranger can freely choose between either their spell list or the powers that we have up above. There's about 180 powers in total, 60 of which are like cantrip effects that don't require mana at all, and the rest of them are anywhere from 1 to 4 mana. So you can check out all the mechanics here. And then far down here at the Arcane Trickster, there you go, Paladin, Ranger. We've rebuilt everything using the 2024 mechanics. Use the color mana system that we had developed in 2017 and have been further refining through various campaigns. I've ran a full 20 level campaign using the system, as well as multiple smaller campaigns from like level 1 to 6, 3 to 6, 7 to 12, and I had another 3 to 5 campaign as well. And now we're going to do a mega dungeon, which is going to be from level 3 to 10, testing all these different mechanics as well. So if you stay in the document, and you can see here Artificer, which then gets you into the magic gear that we created for the power system. And once we get past all the magic item stuff, you get into the magic paradigms of color magic and the Strixhaven, Ravnica, and Theros backgrounds, and Piety and Renown system here that we're still rebuilding using the new 2024 mechanics of character creation. Past that are the monster templates using the 4E roles of Artillery, Brute, Controller, Lurker, Skirmisher, Soldier, and Boss/Solo Monster. The amount of powers, the power dice they roll, and the number of powers they can have, and their general bonuses of good and bad stats. And we have multiple kits of powers built out. If you're an artillery character, for example, here's a generic kit of powers that your character can have based on what rank they are, and their rank is determined by their CR 1, 5, 9, 13, and above, and 14 plus. Each role has multiple kits of powers, and so you can combine those to make your creatures unique and upscale a little bit more to work with the power that the characters have. And then once you get past all of these examples of different characters, magic items, and character builds, you find the Rubble Belt Playtest design, which is the overland hex crawl system that uses Colorland as the base of narrative, which we used in a campaign from level 3 to 6 back in April through June, with all the monsters, enchantments, and hazards that are associated with each type of land. Then we have extra subclasses from all the martial classes that did not appear in the Player's Handbook 2024. And past these, we then find our way down into the full casting classes that utilize the new 2024 mechanics with the color mana system as full casters. Color core mechanics for the bard, all the bard subclasses, cleric, all the cleric subclasses, druid, sorcerer, warlock, wizard. And once we get through all of those, we then get down into the current Mega Dungeon campaign design ideas for going back to the oldest school of Dungeons and Dragons in the 70s, where you didn't gain any experience for killing monsters, overcoming traps, and dealing with challenges, which was a concept introduced in the 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons, which then made fighting monsters the priority of the game instead of overcoming obstacles to claim treasure. If you look at the larger world these days, in the story-driven narratives, where you could have like maybe one combat per 3 months, and that gives you a level for your character. The character advancement is driven by story beats, which requires you to hit the beats of the story that the DM lays out, which means you're not really becoming heroes and conquering the world around you. You are pseudo-passive audience members, kind of like you're playing a video game with cinematics. And the decisions that you make inside of the game, like a video game, is on linear rails. Maybe it's an open world, but it all filters back to basically one point where the next cinematic is nestled. And these video game companies spend a stupid amount of money in creating good-looking cinematics. And as time goes on, they have less and less gameplay and more cinematics where characters can have dialogue and drive whatever message it is that they want to drive for the video game, and provide whatever kind of personality or emotional investment that they want for the characters and events that are in the story, largely separate from the actual mechanics of the gameplay. And what does that create? It creates a very passive, disinterested audience, because you don't play video games for the movie. You play video games for the gameplay. You want good gameplay. So we're seeing the same effect over time. Over the past 20 years, we've seen the quality of hard gaming in our role-playing games eroded by the leader in the industry, Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons. It has moved away from a consequence-driven player, empowered player decisions, whether those results are good or bad, in location-based adventures that don't have specific storylines or plot points. They only have the environment, hazards, conditions, and creatures in the environment, treasure that can be found and extracted from that environment, and then goals that the different creatures and NPCs inside of that environment are attempting to achieve for themselves. When your characters arrive, almost universally in this progressively generated story, or progressively generated adventuring, there is no plot beyond what are the goals of the NPCs that are inside of the environment the characters are introduced into. What do the players want to do? How do they want to interact with the NPCs? Do they want to kill them all? Do they want to ally with them? If the goal is to extract treasure from the environment, you have to find the treasure and then find a way to get the treasure and get it out safely. Normally that means you kill a bunch of monsters and avoid a bunch of traps to avoid having your hit points drop to 0 while you're lugging treasure out of the dungeon. Once the treasure is out of the dungeon and you go back to civilization, you can cash in the treasure and convert it either into actual wealth, into actual currency that you can spend, magic items that you can use, or you remove it from your character sheet and convert it directly into experience points on a 1-to-1 gold to XP ratio. So we spent last session and the session before that basically setting up the charts and tables for us to see how XP on characters are going to progress. We have our characters level 1 to 20 here with the amount of experience points that they're supposed to accumulate, the total amount of experience points accumulated. Here is listing for you the amount of experience points that you will have gained to reach the next level. And we have the scale using a new Dungeon Master's Guide, which became public today. Low, medium, and high risk encounters, which are determined by the amount of experience points of creatures. Multiply the XP amount by the number of characters in the party. That becomes the budget for an encounter. You can see here we have how much experience each creature is worth. Mike Shea, Lazy DM, has basically has an alternate to this, which is you can have a CR equals character levels. That's a decent challenge. So if you are 4 first level characters, sorry, that becomes a dangerous encounter to have one creature equaling the CR of all four characters. And generally, like if you have 4 characters that are all first level, you're going to want to have at most 4 1/4 level, 1/4 CR creatures, so that 1/4 times 4 equals 1. 1 is a strong challenge against a first level team. So we're going to stick for now. We're going to that is certainly a simplified way of doing it, but we're going to stick with the new 2024 DM rules just to see how well they clip together. So we can see the XP totals that a character can get at different levels. Our campaign that we're going to run, the Mega Dungeon, is going to be level 3 to 10. So this is the only block that we need to worry about in here. Characters gain the amount of experience points they gain from 3rd to 4th level is 1,800. And then we also have the amount of gold characters are supposed to have per level. At first level, you just have your starting gold. And over the course of your adventure, you're supposed to accumulate 100 gold by the time you get to 2nd level. So you're supposed to accumulate 100 gold pieces, and you're supposed to accumulate something seems off track. Yeah, okay, great. We're already 3rd level. We're supposed to accumulate 2,700 experience points, which means we need an extra 1,800. At 3rd level, we're 3rd level. We're supposed to accumulate 200 gold, which takes us to the total gold is there. We're supposed to have by the time we reach 4th level, we're supposed to have a total of 400 gold. We already had 200 gold at 3rd level. So that means that we're accumulating an additional 200 gold at 3rd level, and we're accumulating 1,800 experience points to get to 4th level. That means that each character in the party needs, between the gold and the experience, a total of 2,000 gold worth of treasure. They can keep as much of the treasure that they want, but for every extra point that they keep, they get 1 less experience point. If they get rid of all of the gold, they get no treasure or loot to improve their kit of like their equipment, but they gain experience at a rapid rate. So when we're designing the dungeon, what we want to do is have 1,800 plus 200. That is going to be a total of 2,000 gold of treasure that's distributed per character at 3rd level. And if we have 4 characters in the party, that means 8,000 gold total. And when we were, let me make sure I'm on the right page here. Blip, blip, blip. We'll get this out of the way. When we were working on our dungeon, this is a random dungeon that we created. You can see here, we just used the dungeon map generator here to create a dungeon. It's actually a pretty good system. We waited out, and the XP is still good. The amount of treasure is good for the amount of treasure you're supposed to get according to the player's handbook, but there is a vast shortage of the amount of gold that we actually need to be able to achieve our goals. I'm going to kick back down here. So here we're looking at the amount of experience points that are needed at 3rd level, and we haven't worked with 4th level yet because we're still building out at 3rd level maps. But here you can see like an easy challenge is 150 XP, or a low risk challenge, 150 XP per character at 3rd level, which is a total of 600 XP, which is like 3 CR1 creatures, or like a CR2 creature and a CR half creature. But like a single CR3 creature with 700 experience points is more than a low-risk challenge to a 3rd level team. 4 characters of 3rd level, a moderate risk is going to be 225 times 4, which is 900 experience points. So you could have a CR3 and a CR1, 700 plus 200 equals 900 experience points, which jives over here. But like this 1100 XP creature, which is where CR4 comes in, that's too strong is beyond the scale of danger for a moderate challenge for the team. If you go up here to the high risk challenges, it's 400 per character. This is the maximum amount of experience point worth of creatures you should be throwing at your creatures and expect them to survive. So 400 times 4 is 1600. So we could go with a 1100 XP for a 4th level for a 4 CR creature and still have 500 points left over. So I could like put in 450 with a CR2. That takes us to 1550. Or I could do like, I have 1100 here and then 4 half CR creatures, or 1100 here and then like 2 creatures of CR1. That would take us to 1500, and then like another creature of CR 1/2. So we could have like 4 creatures in that encounter, and that would be a deadly encounter for them. So we've taken, we went into the Monster Manual 2014 to look at the stack of creatures that exist. Here's all the different creatures of 1/2, 1, 2, 3, and 4 that seemed relevant for underground dungeons, mountain spaces, and swamps. Those seem to be the most relevant 3 for the type of encounters or type of dungeon I wanted to run. And so we divided up the monsters between just dungeon gunk, sentient creatures, and undead. And so we have these different tiers, CR1, 2, 3, 4. Those are different CRs. And then we took those and we have our array of combinations to get to different XP amounts, like a heavy rating, like 8 CR1s. CR1 is worth 200 XP each. See, 200 XP for CR1. So a moderate, a deadly, high risk challenge of 1600 experience points would be 8 of those creatures. Here's all the different ways to combine the CRs within range of your characters to create various threats. Here's how the monsters are categorized. So when we went about to create low, medium, and high risk creature challenges, divided between dungeon gunk, intelligent creatures, rather sentient creatures, and undead. So like flesh hunters are ghasts and ghouls. Ghoul pack is just for ghouls. For sentient creatures of a moderate risk, we have ogre brutes, 2 ogres, gets you to 900. Gets you to 900 experience points exactly. A green skin patrol of a veteran, like a veteran bugbear or hobgoblin perhaps, and some orcs. Bugbear militia is 7 orcs and a bugbear captain. And then you get into the green skins are basically invading this dungeon. Here we are. Let's go back to our dungeon here. So here's the front end of the dungeon. Ettins, there's an Ettin that's in the mix, and Ettins all by themselves are big threats. So an Ettin and 4 orcs would be a siege squad, a siege brute Ettin. Ettins are size huge, so they can't actually navigate past these doors. So basically, the Ettins relegated to being outdoors or in this entrance foyer. And that's as far in as the Ettin's going to go. So the Ettin becomes a door guardian. That if a team can get past it and the orcs, then you start getting access to the temple. And then as you move through the temple, you get into the deeper areas where the undead and the lizard men and all the different monster hazards are at that we're going through. And again, with this XP system, none of these creatures give you any experience points. But we need to distribute 8,000 gold pieces worth of treasure throughout the facility. So 8,000. Let's take a look at some another piece of information here, which is the magic item rarity and values. If we go back to the Martial Powers playtest content that we have, we can drop down here. This is useful. Get down into the power gear that we created. Let me get past the character class options. There. New types of magic items. Here we go. Primarily what we're interested in for power gear is a mana crystal. So mana crystals can either be attuned to permanently for you to regain the amount of listed mana per day. And again, your character can only have 3 attuned items unless you're an artificer. So you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either attune to a magic item and gain that experience point, gain that extra mana whenever you finish a long rest to be able to tap into it. Or if you don't attune to it, you can pull mana out of the stone permanently, but it destroys the stone as a consumable item. So if you need the mana now and you don't need more magic items to attune to, you can just you can just destroy the magic item and gain extra mana for you to throw around until you take a long rest and it goes away. So if we look at our tables here, common gives you 2 mana, uncommon gives you 3 mana, rare gives you 4, up to legendary gives you 6, and of course this doesn't include artifacts, which are priceless. Excuse me, I'm tired. Awarding magic items, awarded by level. Here's the amount of magic items that you're supposed to get, whether it is temporary or permanent items. This is taking into account the small portion of gold that you're supposed to get. We have random magic item rarity, so you can see here in the table, characters only get, on average, either common or uncommon items. Very rarely will they get a rare item. There might be a rare magic item throughout this entire 3rd level adventure. And it's probably not at the front end, but if we go back to the table here and take a look, we need 8,000 gold worth of treasure distributed into the place. So if we price out magic items, I've missed, there it is. Common, which are worth 2 mana, is 100 gold pieces. Uncommon, which is 3 mana, is 400 gold pieces if you keep and attune the item. So we can, and if you consume the magic item for immediate mana that isn't sustained, or that you can't replenish every time you take a long rest, it's just a potion that just basically gives you more mana back, then that value disappears. So the debate that I'm having right now is a consumable magic item is worth half the cost that's listed here. So a common magic item is 100 gold pieces, but if it's a consumable item, consumable magic items are only worth 50 gold pieces. So I'm thinking when we are allocating magic items, we should allocate them from a permanent perspective. Like, we'll assume that they're permanent, and if you want to destroy them to gain mana, you're just burning through your treasure that much more quickly. You'll just have that much less XP to extract at the end. So we're going to have a mix of coin, or rather like currency, which can be trade bars, various types of coins or gems, just like generic monetary gems. And then we can have magic items, which will largely be mana crystals, but can also be potions, spell scrolls, maybe even magic items with unusual properties associated with them, or simple +1 magic items or whatever. And our goal is to get to 8,000 experience points. Whether the team finds all of the magic items or not is not my concern. My only concern is having it in there, but then having enough spaces. Like if we're looking at this is one dungeon, but it's attached to another dungeon. I'm going to actually duplicate this layer here and remove that one there, because we're going to make another dungeon. We're going to drop this one, and we're going to drop that one in here too. But first things last, we're going to get rid of all of this. I'm going to push it up the page. Yeah, let's do that. So we can tack on a whole nother dungeon here. So this is the front end of the dungeon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rooms. Plus the entrance is roughly 10 rooms for the team to fight through. We'll have some treasure scattered around that's already been looted from this place by the green skins and accumulated as basically as a payout, as a treasure purse. If your team can defeat the green skins, they can take the treasure, and then they get access to deeper layers. This is an open underground ravine that has basically a pool at the bottom. And it has, this is the level that we're on, here's another level, and here's another level. So this is the 3rd level that we're on. This is 4th level underneath, and then 5th level at the bottom where the grotto is at. And by level, we mean that the CR, the assumed level of your characters, where we're at right now at this level is 3rd. If we drop down a floor, the CR, the challenge, your characters are assumed to be 4th level. So the CR ratchets up. And at the bottom of the dungeon space, that's 5th level dungeon. That assumes that your characters are 5th level, which means you're going to be dealing with threats, XP levels, and reward levels befitting 4th and then 5th level characters, respectively. So the way that old school dungeons worked is that you would move through a dungeon, and sometimes you wouldn't necessarily know what level the dungeon is that you're on. Or you can move through like an archway, and that archway divided a dungeon from level 3 to 4, for instance, or there could be like a delicate grade that you might not notice, and if you don't, you could find yourself 200 paces down, and thus on a new level of the dungeon, now a level 4 instead of 3, and you might not necessarily notice that. So since monsters, traps, tricks, and puzzles don't grant you any experience points, they're just obstacles in the way of you getting treasure. So whatever means your characters are able to find their way through the challenges, that's just them protecting themselves. They don't gain anything from that. They could run around and kill every monster in these dungeons and never pick up a coin, and they won't get any experience points, because when you leave, they're no better off than they went in. And that's a big philosophical and mechanical difference between those two mentalities. Granting people experience points for just showing up might be good for a game where you need people to show up, like a West March campaign or something like that. Extracting treasure is a really great system of being able to maintain control over characters. And this is a playtest. The primary purpose for this campaign is to playtest combat mechanics using the martial power system and to a lesser extent, the color mana system. The color mana system I ran, like I said earlier, in multiple campaigns, including an entire campaign from level 1 to 20. It's a great system. Mechanically, the color mana system is solid. Right now, we're playing with new options for martials, so a great way for us to sludge through playtesting and fighting a bunch of monsters is to go back to the original BX system of no XP for fighting monsters. So I could have you fight an infinite number of monsters to play test the mechanics and then just do normal player shenanigans to extract the wealth that you want. So a lot of really fun opportunities there that I'm excited about. So right now we're in the process of distributing wealth, right? So if we're looking at this place, we could see, like for example, we could have a treasure trove that the green skins never found. So like we could say there's like, we could have like 3,000 experience points worth of stuff like in this hidden room here. Let's do that again. Like we have 3,000 gold here. And again, our goal is to get to 8. So that's a big chunk of change if the team can find it. Maybe we put like 200 in here, none in here. We've already cleaned this. We already cleaned this room out. So let's have. Let's keep the treasure stores. Let's say we keep them over here. So let's say we have another 1,500 over here of art and currency, art and gems. Let's have 300 over here. Worth of mana. And so that means 3 mana stones, 100 XP, 100 gold piece value each, 2 mana a pop. So that's 300, that's 1800, that's 4800 that we're up to already. Maybe there's like we probably would have already extracted all the wealth off of like the statues and stuff in here. So this has been bared out, and we drop it over here for safe, like the greenskins, they would drop it over here for safekeeping. Huge treasure trove in here they haven't found because of the secret doors. 1800, 4800. Let's put another, say, 700 of art in here. 700, 1,000, 2,500, 5,500, 5,500. That leaves us with 2,500 to find. We could have, let's say, 300 worth of art on this walkway going over the ravine. 300, 1,000, 2,500, 5,500, 5,800. So we still need 2,200. Need 2,200. And then we can do a kicker effect. So actually, let's drop that there. 700 here is fine. That's fine. Let's go with, yeah, I'm okay with that. This feels good. There's a timer. What are we at? Okay, we're doing really, really good over here. What is it? 3 o'clock here in Seattle? We're doing good. I got another half hour or so. Art, and gems. Art, gem, mana. Let's do that again. Art, gem, mana, and currency. I can just have gems as currency. Art, currency, and mana. It's called magic. Magic over here, 300 worth of magic, which is just going to be mana stones to fuel a guardian. 3,000 is going to be currency and magic specifically. And then here specifically is 700 gold worth of art. And then we go across the bridge. And then on the bridge, we have 300 gold worth of art. And then we get across the bridge. We still need 2,200. So that was 5,700. That was over here. So you need more treasure than the characters are supposed to have wealth and XP, because like they might not find that thick treasure trove. So if they can't find the treasure trove, there's no chance for them to be able to extract enough wealth from the dungeon. So as we continue expanding on the dungeon, we want to push our space down here into a larger space so we can have more rooms for more treasure to accumulate. So I'm going to, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. It's actually very easy. Now that we have the treasure, the troves built out, we just get to put in an XP amount, like that 300, like that 300 XP pocket. We know that there's probably going to be like the 2 ogre brothers, for example. Maybe they both have a mana crystal, and then the bugbear captain has a mana crystal as well, so they can have boosted effects. Or maybe the Etten has like a brooch of shielding or something on it that's worth an uncommon magic item for 400 gold. This is loot This is equipment that we can distribute amongst the creatures to use against the characters as a means, like as a motivation for them to snuff them or steal from them or trade with them. The way that they get access to the treasure is completely up to the players. I don't care. As a DM, it's not important to me. What they choose is important to me, so I can make the world respond to them. How the world chooses to, how the DM concocts the world responding to the players. That's the only thing that's important. Plot points, your story arc, your NPC goals, all that shit is garbage. It doesn't matter at all. It's all about what choices are the players making and what's the most fun, challenge, and rewarding you can make having those decisions be for your team. There's a big difference in philosophy between AD&D and WotC D&D. Big difference in philosophy. I love the D20 game engine. I love how it works. I am not happy with how it's been implemented, if that makes sense. Great engine, horrible implementation. That's just my opinion after 30 some odd years of playing D&D. I mean, your opinion may vary, and you are welcome to have your own opinion. So I won't tell you you're wrong because it doesn't necessarily agree with me, but I've had a great opportunity over many years, decades, to be able to see, at least for my own style, what works and what doesn't work, what lessons I want to carry forward into new editions, what are bad ideas, stuff like that. So we're gonna build that like that. 1 2 3 1 2 3 15 30 45. Doesn't take long to get across. So I'll probably expand on that. But hey, great. So we're gonna make a dungeon. Boom. Let me grab this. I'm gonna download this. I'm gonna download the map. I'm gonna download the player map. And I'm going to download the HTML page. So I downloaded those assets, and now this dungeon is mine, and all the information about it. And it's all hyperlinked. See, I can click on room number 1, and it takes me to room number 1. Isn't that super cool? I love that. Cool. So I'm going to build a new dungeon. So let's go back to settings. Level 3 dungeon. Party size is 4. Motif we're going to change to, let's change it to Underdark. And fine box. Let's go with no, I don't like cavernous yet. I'll want cavernous on the lower levels, but here let's just go with rectangle. What about a box? Yeah, let's go with a box. Knock him out of the box, Luke. So knock him out. Room size, room layout standard, peripheral egresses, yes. We're going to have, we need a stairway on this one, so stairs equals yes. Is it yes, no, or many? Yeah, we just need a yes. Remove dead ends equals all. Map style standard. Yep, and grid size is square, or grids are squares. Let's change our seed here, just like that for the lulz, and let's see how that works. Egress is here. What kind of stuff we got going on? Wraith. Barghest. Ooh, a Barghest. CR4. I didn't see that. Wraith. Wraiths are too dangerous, man. CR5 is too high for level 3 characters. Like, they could take it on, but not as a fucking wandering monster. That's just too strong. Particulus. Stuck stone door. I'd rather be at the jovial shrew. Kuatoa whip. Neat. Kuatoa. Ooh, Kuatoa. That's an interesting idea. That was an aquatic encounter that we're not working on. That I think that's why we hadn't seen them before, but I like the idea of Kuatoa being around. That's a neat idea. Okay, cool. So let's take the general dungeon design here. So I'm going to new. I'm going to grab this here. Copy. I'm going to go back into here. We're going to paste. So I'm going to use this just to randomly riff off of it. This becomes our landing zone. When we're making rooms, we always have a 5-foot block for a door to be separate. That. Goes like that. Downward passage. Let's do like this. Oh, that's interesting. Like it wraps around. I like that. Oh yeah, let's do it like that. do like that. There. Like that. Yeah, so far so good. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. I feel like there should be an expansion, like something that's been caved in or cut off. Yeah, at least to a level 4? No, at least a level 5? Yes, so there's a level 5, there's a level 5 dungeon here on this level that is cut off. Probably because of Undead Incursion. Is that what it is? Undead Incursion? No. Maybe it's magical contamination. It's 6 out of 6. Okay, magical contamination. And is it off to the right or is it off to the south? But I think it's off to the right. No. Is it off to the south? No. Is it off to the left? Yes. I feel like I just want to flip the entire map. Free transform. Come on, buddy. Free transform. Flip horizontal. That's my array. Okay, and so that means the incursion or the cave-in is over here. Stairs down. Zone 1, green skin. Zone 2, lizard folk. Take your time with timer. Stairs down, and then more stairs down. This is a balcony that oversees the stairs going down. So this is some sort of a special bit. So we want art in this room. We want 1,000 art. And we only need 2,200. So 1,000 here, and let's say 700 here, 700 here of art as a warning, basically, to not have access to the 5th over there. Earth. Let's go with another layer like this. Let's just block that in, block that in, block that in, block that in here, and then bop, bop, bop like that, and then bop, bop, bop like that, and then bop, bop, Murph, bop, 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 bop like that, and then Murph like that. Fill that in, and fill this in. This is all dead space here. I really like that. Cha-da-cha-da-cha-da-cha. Yeah, not bad. So we got 700 gold worth of art over here. Some art here, 700 art here in this landing. 500, 500, 500. That's 1,500. That leaves 20. That means 700 left. So let's go with 200 magic. I still need 500. Let's go with 300 magic, 500 art, 500 art. 300 of art here. That's 1,000. 1,500, 2,000, and then we'll go to 200 magic here. Art is fun because art can be anywhere from the weight of a gold piece to like 1,000 pounds, and getting it out is your problem. So art is really nice. It can be like gold encrusted fresco, and you can scrape the gold off of the fresco and like get like 200 gold if you spend like a week scraping all this gold off. Like it could be obnoxious like that, or as easy as it's an onyx statue. It's worth probably 200 gold. Gank, easy peasy, right? But this is how we're breaking it down. So, and then we already have. I'm gonna hit save here real quick, and I'm gonna extract this too. Download the map, download the player's map, download the HTML. So now we have all the pages in storage. Ooh, look at that. Engraved with dwarven axe heads. A leather coat trimmed with rabbit fur. Neat. There's just neat stuff laying around here, so we'll gank some of that. But we already have enough encounters laid out here. So in the second half of the map, this is when we get to see the lizard cult. So we get to see the lizard litany, lizard folk defenders holding a defense at the door, skilled disciples, and the egg mother. These are all things that we can have inside of this second map area, like the defenders here, and like the egg mother here, the litany over here, and just patrol is just random. It'll just show up in a room. So, and then each of these gold values, like these magic items, are equipped to different lizardmen, shamans, or protectors that are defending this region. And then we have the stairway that goes down to level 4, which also has a corresponding position on this lower tier here, so you don't actually have to mess around with these lizard folk at all if you want to get down to like maybe we'll have access to the 4th level like over here. And so, and we have 5th level is sprawling out over here, and so like maybe down here we'll have a 5th level access. So like all along this way with an elevation change will be along 5th. And like maybe over here, these stairs lead down to the 5th level, 4th level over here, and then has a passageway that leads to 5th level down here that then eventually spills out here. So we'll have like one access point here and then another access point here, but all of them lead down here, and this could even be level 6 further down here. Or this could be a closed environment and it leads off. Like one of the, I'm going to give a shout out to Bandit's Keep, Daniel at Bandit's Keep. He was talking about treasure maps as a treasure, a number, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, where your team, when they get a treasure trove and they get a bunch of scrolls and they check them out, a lot of times they're going to be like scrolls of protection of some sort, or spell scrolls most likely. But there's also occasionally a treasure map that can lead to like a 5th level dungeon. So it would be a completely different scenario than this. This is like 3rd, 4th, 5th level. And once they get through this, we could lead them to another dungeon, and maybe the next dungeon is going to be like level 5, 6, and 7. And they go through that dungeon, and we give them another dungeon map, and that'll take them to like 7 and 8, and then another dungeon map will take them to like 9 and 10, and then that'll cap the campaign with 4 separate dungeons that they've been led to with different treasure maps. So when you give them a treasure map, it's like, hey, here's treasure maps that you've gained. You look, and if you feel like you've cleared out this dungeon and you want to go explore the next treasure map, it'll lead you to this other dungeon, and I can give them clues and tips about what's going on inside that dungeon too, for them to prepare or respond to, and for me to build a motif around. So that's the idea. That's how this stuff generally works. So where are we at on time? I think I'm out. Yeah, it was just a little bit over an hour. So now we've gotten 8,000 gold distributed between the front and back end of this facility, divided by the ravine. The ravine has its own traps and challenges like spiders, dark mantles, and will-o-wisps, and that become a large spiders. The spider lair, like there's phase spiders down in the depths here where there's will-o-wisps as well. So it gets like really spooky fey the further down underground we go. It becomes more and more fantastical. So that's what we want. And so just having the rooms laying out with a different type of art and treasure gives us the goal. It gives us the treasure value that we need for them to extract and then be able to convert into gold, or rather to convert into experience points. And then of course they can keep as many of these magic items as they want. If they do, then that's just that much less experience points. They have to delve in deeper to be able to get more treasure. And if they want to dig out a way through this tunnel here, it'll lead them to a 5th level adventure zone that's been quarantined from the rest of the temples. So maybe there's like a, I don't know, maybe there's like some sort of like a gibbering mouth or some sort of abomination that's in there that they didn't want to have to mess with. It was too dangerous for them to deal with, so they caved it in to avoid it, perhaps. So there's some sort of dark, evil presence beyond the cave-in that might be trying to lure the team in to rescue them, quote-unquote rescue, to open that passage up so the evil could get back out, for instance. So that's the ideas anyway. So hey, that's it for now. I'm going to go ahead and put this on pause. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I might be back tomorrow at lunchtime. I'm not sure what my schedule is going to be like. I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue working on the Eberron adventure maps and page layouts. I might be back tomorrow at lunchtime. Otherwise, I'll be back on Thursday morning for sure, and then Thursday night as well. Friday morning, Friday lunch, Saturday brunch. I have 3 people. We have 2 participants for the Monday night game, and we have 1 participant showing for the Saturday morning game. I want 5 players for a playtest for us to be able to get actually up and running. So if you're interested in either one of those, just checking the link down below to the playtest invite on my Discord channel. You're most welcome to participate if you're interested. Give me some feedback. If you want, anyone that participates gets a free copy of the book once it publishes. That's it for now. So thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you on the other side. Cheers.